All right, welcome back to our Firebase tutorial. We are going to jump into storing profile photos now with the storage functionality. So I'm in Firebase console, I clicked on storage, there was a queue to click on get started, and it had some info excuse me, about the rules. And so we are allowed to read and write to storage as long as we are logged in. So we shouldn't have any issues. All right, so if we come back to our starter app on the fourth tab, you can see we have change profile picture. When I tap it, it brings up my image picker and my photo library, and then it allows me to edit, and then it swaps out this photo. The missing code, however, is this function save image to Firebase. And you can see this function is called in the did finish picking media with info. It fires it off and it passes over the image that we selected in the image picker. So now we want to be able to save that image in Firebase Storage. Of all the things that we've done so far, this one is definitely the most challenging, but I think it adds for a just fantastic user experience, and just it's really cool. It takes it to the next level when building an app. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is get a reference to where I'm going to store the profile photo. Yeah, don't forget this. We have to import Firebase. So I had already done that before I started the video. And now let's go. First, we need to know who the user is. So let's just, like we had before, auth.current user.uid. So I've written this so many times in this app that at this point I would probably have created a separate class to put current user in, so that every time I open the app, it checks to see if there's a user and it stores it in a class that it always has access to, because I've typed this way too many times. But with that in mind, now we can safely check to see if there's a user. Then we can create a storage reference. Let storage ref. This is where we're going to store these profile photos. It's going to be in storage, then reference, and then we are, just like our database, it's going to have a child. So let's call this profile images, and then another child, and this is going to be our current user's UID, where I want to store my photo so that it's always associated with my current user. If they update their profile photo, we'll always know where to find it because it's stored under their UID. Okay, and now let's begin uploading it. So let store data equal storage ref dot there we go, put data. Let's see, I'm going to just take the upload data. So this gives us an issue because this is looking for a data type, and if I just put image right there, it's going to give us an error. So it cannot convert UI image to expected type data. So we have to convert our image that we passed in here from UI image type to data type. So not too difficult. Let's do let image data equals image.png data. And it says returns the data for the specified image in PNG format. So now that we have that, we can put this, but I believe it is, let me see. I believe this is going to be an optional. Yep. So we have to safely unwrap this. So let's just give it a guard let else return. Okay. Now that we will, if for some reason we cannot convert the image to data, this will just exit out of the function. We'll be okay. All right. Now we are storing the data. And just like that, that should work. Let's just give it a shot. Here we go. Change profile picture. Here. Select the waterfall. Choose. Okay, so this is going to update no matter what, but let's go check on our database. Unlike Firebase database, it doesn't refresh automatically, so let's refresh our browser. And look at that. We have a folder called Profile Images. We have a node here for my user's UID. We can see this information, and we can even see that there's a download URL. So if I click that, it's copied to the clipboard. I will paste that in. It's ready to download. And when I open it up, ta-da! How cool is that? So there you go. It's stored in Firebase Storage. And it's as simple as that to put a file in. We can do a little bit more work with this. As you store data, you probably want to keep track of the status. So we can do stored data observe, and we can get this one with the storage task status and a handler. So there's a few things that we can observe. We can observe when there's success. We can observe progress. Let's go with progress. Okay, so this will be fired every time the progress of this changes. So this will spit out a snapshot. And so we can do a few things here. Let's see, what are the properties of snapshot? Well, it's got metadata, it's got progress, it's got status. So let's do let progress equals snapshot dot progress. And again, this is an optional, so we'll just do it that way. And then we can do progress dot, I believe we can get a fractional fraction completed. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. It just was a little slow. Let me stop my simulator. So that's one thing that we can do. We can get the fraction completed. So let's go here. Okay, sorry, I'm back. Had somebody walk in, so I paused. So we can, this is an optional, so I'm going to just force unwrap that. And let's see, I also want to check the status. So let's do if let status equals snapshot dot status. This one might not be an optional. There we go. So we don't need that. We can just do this. So if status equals dot completed. Actually, do we want, I think we want success. Print upload successful. Okay. So this observer is going to just watch this this attempt to put data in the storage reference, and as it goes, it is going to pay attention to the progress. It's going to print out the fraction of the progress that has been completed, and it's also going to hopefully print upload successful if the upload finishes. There. Let's go with the flowers. And you can see here, if I can find it, we go from a really small number to a little bit more to a little bit more to spitting out some stuff. And so it didn't work quite as expected. Let's see if there are flowers in our database. So let's go here. Let's go here. And again, copy, paste that in. We will just overwrite the other file and see if it works. So it worked, it just didn't spit out the way I was expecting it to. I've had some issues with this as I was preparing for this video. So it might make more sense to take this status observer and I guess put it in its own thing. So we could do store data.observe, and we could observe success, and then snapshot, and so let success equals snapshot.status. Actually, I want to do status, and then we could even like, let's see, and then print status, so that we can observe multiple things at the same time. We can observe the progress, we can observe only if it's successful. So this would be helpful if you wanted to use this fraction completed to kind of show a progress indicator of how long it's taking, or let the user know about when it's going to finish, things like that. Let's try this grass. So you can see, there you go, that spit out as you're expecting, from 0 to a little bit more. It jumps all the way to 1, and then it also prints out the status. So we could do status dot so didn't like that. So we could say if status equals dot success, then do something now that we've had a successful save to Firebase. So that's actually what I want to do. I want to save the URL associated with this picture in my user's node in the database. So let's do that now. So if it's successful, then we can do storage ref dot download URL. Okay, so this has a so again, storage ref was up here, and this allows us to get the URL for this reference and do something with it. So it has a completion handler. I'm going to double click. It's going to come back with either a URL or an error. And let's see, if error is not equal to nil, for some reason doesn't work, then we will print error.localized description. Otherwise, we can do something with the URL. And so with this URL, let's first, let's see, guard let URL equals URL else return. Because this URL is optional. So I just want to take this optional URL and safely unwrap it. And now we can, let's see, attempt to store it in the user's node. So let's go, again, I keep doing this in a lot of, no, we should be able to do this just fine. So we will do database.reference.child users.child current user update values. Remember, we want update values because we don't want to replace everything at this node. We just want to add something. So this is going to be profile image URL, and we are going to put in that place a, let's see, we will do URL.absolute string. Okay, so we can't store a URL data type in Firebase. We can only store a URL string. So we are going to save that string in profile image URL, and that's only if the upload status was successful. So let's see if this works. There we go. There we go. Let's go with this waterfall. We can even edit it a little bit, move it around. Let's see, looks pretty good. So, we're no longer printing if it's successful, but we can go back over to our database and see if anything is updated for our user. And look at that, our profile image URL has been updated with the URL for our user. All right, so we are making incredible progress. Our last step here is to make it so that when I load this up, instead of seeing my default image, I want to see the image that is stored in the database for this user.